Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing the 100 Dragon Challenge. So for today, I wanted to check another one off of our zodiac list, so I thought we could do an Aquarius Dragon today. So I kind of had an idea generally going into this one. I wanted to make like a cool dragon coming out of, would you call it a water pot or a water urn or a... There's probably a word for it, and I'm blanking on it, but basically like a cool water jug looking thing, like an old, like Roman water pot. Anyway, I wanted to make the dragon coming out of that, since it's so synonymous with the sign itself, and I thought it'd be really cool to try to make this dragon very like fish-like, but also highlight the aspect of it being water. I wanted to show it being like a almost constructed of water, like elemental type of dragon. Since it's primarily like in the sign, it shows like the water jug type thing, pouring water out of it. So I was like, we really need to make this creature look like an elemental creature of some sort. So I was thinking going in, I was going to do a combination of making it very elemental, but I wanted it to have really cool fins going on. So I thought like a mohawk of like almost feather fins would look really, really cool. I don't know if I've done this on a previous dragon, but I was kind of, I know it's not exactly the same, but I was channeling, oh my gosh, what is it? Now I can't even remember the name of that. The sea dragon, like it's kind of like that leafy seahorse type of thing. I was kind of channeling that in my brain, but also like cool feather fins were also on my brain. So that's where that design came from. And with basically the preliminary sketches out of the way, it was time to figure out how to lay out this whole dragon on the whole page. So I started with the placement of the little water jug thing. I was trying to figure out exactly how I wanted this dragon to twist and turn, because I wanted to leave enough room to show that like crown of fins, but also kind of show maybe a little bit of cool overlapping from just the twisting and turning of this creature. And then I wanted to show off its like larger water-like fins. I was kind of feeling like almost like Lugia fin vibes, but made out of water was kind of my thought process on them. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had enough room for everything. But there was a lot of erasing and going back and forth just because I was kind of struggling with like head placement on this one. I love doing these dragons traditionally, but one thing it posed, like one of the big problems that this challenge poses is the constraint of paper. You know, I have a certain size blending card that these are made on, and it fits within the frame of my camera. So, you know, I have to kind of work with the constraints of the size of the paper. And sometimes I grossly underestimate how big the dragon's gonna be on the paper. So, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of back and forth to get the whole creature to fit. But I still like doing these traditionally because it just kind of breaks the monotony, I guess, of digital art. I love doing digital art, but it's kind of hard to have a full-time day job of looking at a computer screen and then turning around and, you know, looking at a computer screen all the time for YouTube and my digital art. So it's been really helpful to have something like this to kind of give my eyes a rest from the computer, but also still be creative. Like, I still feel like I mean, I don't strain my eyes while doing these, but, you know, there's a lot of little details, so my eyes still get kind of a workout, but it's different than working at a computer, you know? Computers just can really exhaust your eyeballs. So if you do digital art a lot, I would really recommend maybe taking breaks and, like, working in a sketchbook, doing some traditional art, like, even if it was on printer paper. You don't even need to, like, finish it on, like, you know, in, like, traditional media. It might just help to try to sketch traditionally and then bring it in and finish it digitally, just to give your eyes a little bit of variety in what they're looking at and to give them a break from the screen. Or like me, where I just work a lot on the computer screen anyway, and I've invested in all my glasses being blue blockers because that has helped immensely. So just do your eyes a favor and either either or and. So either do this or do this and do this. Like, wow, that's a sentence. Either do it or do both of them. That's what it is. Invest in blue blockers, long story short. And so with this end of the tail, I wanted it to kind of slowly transition into being more water and less of those feathery fins. So I was trying to figure that out as I went as well. I think if I could change one thing, the turn here where I have just this clump of the feathery fins, I wish I figured out a way to have them fold around each other a little bit more gracefully. At the turn, kind of by the face, personally, I wasn't really pleased with how they came out, especially after I added color. Like, I like how they look with the line art, but once I drop the color in, I'm like, ooh, that's just a big blob of purple. So I think that's one thing I would change about this, at least seeing it now afterwards. But I had a lot of fun doing the line art for this. There was a ton of details, lots of little things to worry about, like all the fins, little extra bits and bobs along the body, doing just all the cool patterning around it. I just really had a great time with it. This time I also did not forget to do the thicker lines. I remembered this time to not forget about adding some dimension to the piece, especially with this thing overlapping itself. I really wanted to make sure you could see the difference of what was closer or further from the viewer. So now with the line art done, it's time to erase out all of my pencil marks and get ready for color. So I'm gonna get into color in a second, but I was going back and forth on a few colors for this. So I knew that for the water, I didn't want to do blue. I kind of wanted to do a greenish aquamarine blue for the water of this dragon. So I knew I wanted that, and then I wanted the water jug jar thing to be in like more of like clay browns. I thought that'd be really nice with the greeny blues of the body. And then I wanted to do some purples and yellows for the fins and maybe some other different detailing on there, or even like the stomach scales. But you'll see in here, I actually picked some pinks that I end up not using, because I was thinking about putting pink for the stomach plates, but I end up not using it. So you can see them right here. I put the markers out and they're ready to go, but it wasn't vibing with me at first. I'm like, oh, this kind of looks good. But then I'm like, no, I'm not really digging it. It probably would have looked really cool if I added it somewhere else, but just wasn't digging it. So now it's time to get stuck into the coloring, and I realized one of my blues was kind of dying. So that made this part a little bit difficult. You'll see me go over a few spots over and over because the primary blue I chose, I didn't know was so low on ink. And that was a fatal flaw because there was a ton of this dragon to color and not a lot of ink. So that one has been put aside to try to find refills or get a replacement because, hoo boy, I was like killing that marker. I was absolutely destroying it. Like, it got to the point where I would stand it upright and try to get the ink to fall down into the nib. Like, if there's any ink droplets left, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stand this up on the end I need, and hopefully some ink drips down into it, so then I have a little bit of ink to work with. And then the little bit I had, I would just like really like color the crap out of it with it. And then as the tip of it started to lose the ink, I would turn the nib to try to use the nib that was close to like the plastic part of the pen, and I was just trying anything I could do to get any amount of color out of that blue. It was just, ridiculous. But I mean, all the other colors were primed and juicy and ready. Like, the purples were great. The other blues were working fine. It's just that one was, of course, the primary one was, of course, totally out of ink, and I didn't know, and I already liked that color way too much, so it was game over. So also, if you do choose to use that color, I had it in the Copics list. I forgot which one it was. I think it was the second blue-green color. It's not the same color that you see on my drawing, because when I flipped it and tried to use the chisel end as well, it produced a completely different color because the chisel end had some ink left in it. So just FYI, if you buy that color, it's just my ink was so low that the body color almost was a completely different shade of this color. So heads up in case you ever want to get this blue. But anyway, it was time to get stuck in and really kill this marker and attempt to get some ink out of it. So then, just to show you a little bit of my thought process too, this was when I started to realize that I really wanted to make different aspects of it actually look like water, but I thought, ooh, it'd be really cool if it was like almost like the ocean in a way. Like, I understand that water can still maybe do something similar to this, but my thought process for those white ribbons was when the beach tides are coming in, you can just see like the edge of those waves in white. That's what I was thinking when I did it around the creature, but then it inadvertently just made it look like really cool flowing water. Like, it wasn't just specific for beach tides. I don't really know how to explain it any better, but it still gave the impression that this was some type of flowing water, even though my initial brain was like, ooh, this looks like, you know, waves flowing in and out. It just worked for not waves, I guess. It still worked for like a cool flowing water effect. So I'm planning on using that in the future because it was pretty simple to add in to just diversify like how many lines, you know, how they were flowing, and then it just gave it a whole nother texture to the creature overall. So I really, really like how that like added so much of a cool effect to it. All right, and there we go. We're reaching the last little part of this dragon. I decided to add a couple of other cool grays into the mix here in a minute to try to at least add some shadow and dimension. Like I said, I do like how this looks, but the clump of feathers I feel took away from the face a little bit. Like, the dark purples around it do help the face pop, but then when I added the shadow, it really added the dimension that I was missing. So really had fun with this one. It was quite an undertaking coloring wise, and just I probably killed at least 2 markers making this, so time for a restock. But anyway, let's look at your guys' sun dragons from last time. So first off, Zoe Slayer. I'm sorry if I butchered your username. I'm not sure how to do the X at the beginning. I love your sunflower sun dragon. That was just such a fun and cute idea. And Mir, I really liked that you did a GIF and showing these wings coming in and out. It's a little bit harder to feature GIFs, at least in the lineup up top. So I really wanted to show this off though, because I encourage you guys to try lots of different mediums. If you want to do sculpture, if you want to do GIFs, if you want to do animation, whatever you'd like, I'd love to see it. So if you guys would like to participate in this week's dragon, make sure to post it on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag KM100Dragons, or you can join our Discord server. We have a channel there where you guys can like comment and post it and hang out with other monster and dragon nerds and basically have a good time. We also do monthly contests and have some exclusive stuff over there. So if you would like to join us and hang out, the Discord link is down in the description below. But either way, thank you guys again so much for stopping by. Please hit that subscribe if you aren't already. Join our little community of, I guess, monster enthusiasts. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.